Hello and welcome. Happy birthday,
Yay!
Eons.
Eons is one.
Eons is one. Hi.
He's
High five. Blake isn't here because he's on family vacation. Boo.
Boo.
But we've got two of us. And whenever you can get more than half of anything, I feel like that's a win these days.
We're a win. We're winning. Right here.
Callie bought a cake.
I did.
And you got us dinosaur-like
most
things.
Awkward things.
Yeah, was that like in a pack?
Yeah.
They were all together?
And at a random grocery store.
They seem very different from each other. Like if I was gonna guess, I would have thought that you bought them in like 12 different. I get the big tall one.
You did.
Tiara. Is that how it works?
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Yeah, because they don't look like they were manufactured. They certainly are in no way to scale with one another.
Oh no. And they kind of went a little overboard with the ceratopsians. We got like 3 of them in there.
What's a ceratopsian?
So like triceratops.
Ah.
Yeah. The horned ones. And then like a whole random assortment.
And several of them aren't dinosaurs
and
at all.
Several of them. Can you pick out the non-dinosaurs?
Oh, we're gonna start with a quiz.
You want to start with a quiz?
Okay.
Let's
start with a quiz. So far, we're going to start with trying to embarrass Hank. Okay. Well, this isn't a dinosaur because it's some kind of rhinoceros.
Close. It's a Cenozoic mammal, and it's a Uintatherium.
It's a Uintatherium.
They lived during the Eocene. The Eocene has a lot of fun, random, awkward things. We'll have to do an episode over the Eon or the Eocene.
I feel like Uinta. Where is that?
Uinta?
Yeah.
Isn't
that like in New Mexico or something?
Yeah, somewhere around in the desert southwest from the Uinta Formation usually.
Okay.
So Uintatheriums, they're great. They have the craziest skulls. Oh my gosh. They're
These are
just
bone?
Bizarre. Yeah.
So they have these, okay. And then they have this like rectangular hole in their
stomach. Of course,
stomach.
yes. That is their holding capabilities.
You put bread in there.
Yeah.
That's where the bread box goes. So that's not a dinosaur. This is definitely a Dimetrodon of some kind. How's that pronounced?
Dimetrodon.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is a bird. I mean, it's not.
I don't know what that thing is.
It's definitely not a dinosaur.
I think it's supposed to be a pterosaur, but it's got feathers. But it's very awkward. And then look at its feet, or what are supposed to be.
Oh, it's got 7 or 8 of them. These are its udders.
It's
just got udders.
It's just got it's a bird with udders.
It's like from the new Star Wars.
It does look like something.
I guess that's supposed to be its like talons.
Yeah, maybe just
really big feet,
like pulled in. Maybe.
Yeah, because it's like these are it's like knees are back here. Maybe it's supposed to be like a Archaeopteryx.
It could maybe.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is a dinosaur.
Sniff off the
head part,
thing.
which is
Yeah, that one is definitely very confusing. That was kind of the purchasing power of that dinosaur pack. So
you're like, I need that thing.
That is so weird.
I'll take it.
It's
new to science. And then I'm going to go ahead and say that this is also not a dinosaur because it's some kind of space alien. Oh, and one of its feet is real wrong. Something bad happened here.
Yeah, it's like a gecko foot or something.
Yeah, it looks like a sentient gecko.
Yeah.
So this also is not a dinosaur.
Well, it's like half dinosaur.
Are there any others on there that aren't dinosaurs? I think I got them all.
I think you got them all too.
So the little Ankylosaurus guy, that's a dinosaur.
Yep, Ankylosaurus.
Okay. Good.
Well, yep.
Good. Win. I'm a winner. This thing is terrifying. So Eons is a year old. We it seems like both longer and shorter than that. And we have made 49 videos.
No, our
50 as of I think right after this live stream.
Yeah, right after this live stream, our normal episode goes up, and it's a good one. I'm
excited about it.
I'm excited.
I'm the host of that one.
Yeah, he got to host the birthday episode.
Yeah,
hooray!
And we made we have 411,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you all so much. Yeah. That is a lot.
It is
a lot of people.
It's a huge amount of growth for 1 year. And I don't know if I don't pay much attention to our previous channels, but I don't think we've ever had a channel grow that fast. So super exciting.
Yes.
Good job, us.
Yay for the Eons team.
So I only host Eons. That's all I do for it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I do all the fact checking for the script. So every time there's an error, most of the time that's my fault. sometimes
Because you
Blake
didn't catch
slips
it.
some things in after I do my last check
And
that
that's
may
not
have
your fault.
happened just
Yeah.
a couple times. But yeah, so I do all the fact checking. So once the script is like, I don't know, 80, 85, 90% complete, it comes to me and I start fact checking. So I check everything in the script, make sure all those numbers are correct, make sure what the writer is saying is actually legit. And then I obviously also host, and then I help round up images where I can, because every once in a while you got to really track down permissions and get these academics to email you back. Some are really great at it, some I've never heard back from. So
yeah.
And then other times
And you're like, look, we have 411,000 subscribers.
This is probably more people that will ever hear about your subject ever. Like, you know, like I can't imagine 411,000 people reading a peer-reviewed journal about a topic. Maybe like the original dinosaur publication, you know, way back in
dinosaurs.
the day. Yeah, dinosaurs.
That's what they called it.
And
the first article.
And so I bet a lot of people have read that, but it's been around for like over 100 years now. So it's had some time.
I thought that show was canceled in the 80s.
I think we're talking about two different things.
Let's do happy birthday, Eons. Whoa. It shot at me. Did anybody else see that?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good.
I was like legitimately worried. I'm glad I'm wearing glasses.
Yay.
Happy birthday to you.
Us.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday. Thanks everybody else for singing.
Yeah.
Dear Eons. Happy birthday to you. I'm glad I have that confidence.
Yep, that was good. Yeah, just sing. All right, we got to blow.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Woo!
There's, I swear there are other people in this room. They're just being very quiet.
Yeah, they are.
But I hope you all sang with us at home.
Yeah, joined in with that singing because
they wouldn't be able to hear it anyway because our microphones are quite close to our mouths. Have you ever? Like, is there a mess up that you like
that hurts my heart?
To your heart?
Oh my God! When I hosted the episode too. So when you're hosting, you're reading off of the teleprompter, and you get going. And if you get in a groove and you're not messing up all the time, some of these names are so hard to say.
They are hard to say.
So hard to say. And so you get going and you don't even think about what you're saying anymore. You're just going with the flow. And what was it? I think it was the Paleozoic episode. And I said Dimetrodon was a herbivore. And I said it out of my mouth. It was on the thing. I felt like Ron Burgundy. She'll say anything that you put in the teleprompter. And when I said it out loud, something in the back of my brain was like, no.
Right. Well, you just kept going. I've done that too. Where I have those moments where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not true, but I'll fix that at some future point.
Yeah.
Like I'll stow it away and like let someone know later. Like my brain makes this little excuse.
Yep. It's just like
even though it makes no plan to actually do that.
No, luckily we did. I mean, you guys, our viewers, caught that.
They ate sharks
immediately. So we were able to pin a response at the top in the comment section. But it's still like every time I think about it, I'm just like, oh my God, you know better than you knew that.
Were they omnivores?
They were carnivores. Like
they didn't ever eat plants.
No.
It was just written wrong in the script.
I think we had 2 different species of sailed back reptiles in there, or synapsids, and one was a herbivore and Dimetrodon was a carnivore, and something got omitted out of the script, and then it just became Dimetrodon was a herbivore.
Man, I tell you what, if I'd been in there that day reading that script, I just would have been like, sure.
Yep.
That sounds good. Just
like I said, it was something I just came. What?
Yeah. What?
Huh? No. Okay. Yep. So that was probably the worst one.
Yeah.
But I don't think we haven't screwed up very much.
Yeah.
There's been minor ones.
Yeah, it always happens.
Mm-hmm.
You do all you can, and then YouTube won't let you re-upload a fix.
But we do have an FAQ episode coming up where we dive into some of the more like controversial, like it's not a mistake. We're not 100% wrong, but we're not 100% right. So we do go into a little bit more in some of those topics in our FAQ episode.
Maybe Dimetrodon was an herbivore. Maybe it ate shark plants.
Maybe it dug up tubers or
Yeah.
like to eat fungus. Who knows? We don't right now, at least.
We're pretty sure.
We're
Have
pretty
big,
sure
sharp
the big
flesh teeth.
Yeah, the first serrated teeth in the fossil record are probably for meat.
No, it's just for chewing through trees.
Just sawing them down.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So our next episode that's about to go live on Eons is about T-Rex, but specifically about what about T-Rex?
It's little tiny arms. Little baby arms.
So like why does it have tiny arms, but also why does it not have arms at all?
Yeah.
Which I hadn't thought of. I was like, well, it has tiny arms because like its arms got little, but it had little arms for a long time. Different tyrannosaurs had little arms for tens of millions of years.
Oh wow.
So there must have been a purpose to have these useless arms.
I mean, I guess they have to serve a purpose. They have to. I mean,
they go away.
I feel like they should, but
Things that don't serve a purpose go away.
But in the case, what about like the echidna or the kiwi? Like their wings aren't gone yet.
What?
They have little nubbins.
How do echidna have wings and nobody told me that?
They're like little, just like there's not much left of them. So maybe someday there won't be wings. But
what?
Yep. Mind blown over here. We're mind blowing. Yeah. But like little kiwis, I feel so bad for kiwis. Kiwis have the worst bird life of all birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they got
cute
little tiny wings, and then they have an egg inside of them, like as large as their entire bodies.
I guess you make it work. If it doesn't work, you don't survive. So it must be working.
Exactly. It must be worth it. Oh gosh, they have to have a special bone just to hold the egg.
To have wings. It's blowing my mind right now. Or like whatever, any bones there at all. Okay. I guess it makes sense. I mean, like a manatee have like hip bones that float in the middle of their body, but it's used as muscle attachments. Like they use it. It's just like this tiny little thing.
Yeah,
that's the hip
same
bone.
Thing with like whales can have them too, and
so maybe it just held, but like it seems like there's got to be a use for it.
Yeah,
we had. There's a lot of guessing that goes on.
Yes, that's the best part. What's
your favorite guess?
Probably this. I don't think we touched on this in the episode.
Oh wow! So your favorite guess didn't even make it in.
It is no. Well, we glossed over it. We give the PG version, but like I've heard that T-Rex, the male individuals, if they had male and female, because that's a whole nother thing. Like we don't know male versus female really. We do know there was egg laying ones and not egg laying ones,
right?
But anyway,
that's what male and female is
sometimes. So reptiles and lizards can be really weird.
They move back and forth.
Gender spectrum is kind of wherever, and so you can have whole populations of all female and one turns male during the breeding season.
It's like clownfish do this way.
Yeah, and so there's hermaphrodites, and they have both parts. And so many things can happen with lizards.
Right.
So,
we don't know how sex happens in Tyrannosaurus.
No, but with the little arms, one of the hypotheses were that the male would tickle the female's back to get her in the mood. So give a little.
If it doesn't make any sense, it's definitely sexual selection.
Yep.
Like that's the idea. Or they just need something to hold on with.
Yeah, or grasping to just hold on. There is an amazing mounted specimen, I think in Spain, literally mounted, and it's two T-Rex in the position
that we think would have worked.
Yeah, that we think would have worked.
It doesn't seem like something that would be easy to pull off with a T-Rex.
No, I mean, like,
but we don't have any soft tissue, so we don't know what's going on.
Think about like Stegosaurus,
right?
I mean, it's got stuff on its back.
Maybe it did it like birds, where like you lay the egg and then you come by and fertilize it later.
Ooh,
that's what I always imagined.
Or the cloacal kiss.
A cloacal kiss seems very difficult when you have a big, sturdy, long tail on both individuals,
especially with spikes on the end of it. I bet it was all delicate. It was all very delicate.
I mean, yeah. But in any case, like they obviously made it work. They were around for a very long time. But you've brought us a special thing here that we get to see in the and I wish I had this during the episode.
I know. It was like one of those things that like I was like, oh, I should get this to Hank before the episode, and then I was like,
Yep. Time continues to pass. And then suddenly we said that Dimetrodon was an herbivore. Hello. This is a life-sized, articulated mold of a tyrannosaur arm.
Yes.
So Tyrannosaur's right arm.
Yes.
And so what am I? So like this bone.
Yep.
It's just
your humerus.
My humerus.
Your
and then
bicep bone.
And it's like the same size as mine. It's like beefier.
Yeah, it's way thicker, but it's basically the same length.
Why is it thicker? So it can do more work?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that too, and I would assume, there's muscle attachment areas, so they can definitely use them.
Yeah, and they said that in the episode we talk about how the muscle attachment is good for like this movement, like hugging
movements.
I also think about like, I don't know. Well, anyway, let's continue through the physiology. So we've got the humerus. It looks weird. It's got a like elongated, strange thing here, and I guess that the fact that like this is a flat makes it feel a little bit like it would be doing this movement. And then you got your, what is it called in the arm?
Yeah, so the ulna and radius.
Yep. And then longer than the forearm is the index finger.
Yeah.
And then this is the thumb. It's not a thumb.
Yeah. So they don't have opposable. So it's these two here. Yeah.
And so, but then it's got this mass, and like this definitely evolved to be a big, massive finger.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a middle finger in that there are only 3 and it's the one in the middle.
Yeah.
So it's like,
this one this is really weird. So this individual is known as Pecks Rex. It was found near Fort Peck, Montana. And it has like what most people think of as a vestigial, so like a leftover finger bone. So this maybe not even sticking above the skin, not like an actual finger out there finger, but just kind of a leftover. It's really weird. There's only been a couple found with this 3rd digit.
Is that because they've been lost or because they didn't have them? Don't know.
Yeah. I mean, little bones can preserve. I wouldn't think that, because
like,
it's so small.
It's little, and so,
Yeah, but it's just weird. Yep, this is a weird one. But if you think about how big T-Rex was, I mean, I think that some of the reconstructions of T-Rex still make the arms too big. Yeah, because I don't want to say too much about the episode coming up. But
they'll watch it.
I know you're gonna watch it. But the one that's sized up next to you, like its arm looks way bigger than your arm.
Right.
And you can just hold it up next to you.
I mean, this crazy finger is, and the little talon here, it must have been used for doing some kind of damage. I don't know.
But I still like in the script we even talk about maybe being able to like hold as it bit.
Right.
But I seriously don't even think it could get its
What I'm thinking is like maybe sometimes when you're eating, you want to like pick around. And so you got this like little finger and you're like, get out of my way, Gristle. I want to get to the good stuff.
But if you think about how a T-Rex would have been eating, it would have dropped its head down like this
so
from way up.
And
there's
no way that the arm and the hand would be involved at the same time.
Yeah. It would either be arm, like or not. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's such a bizarre creature. It is.
Yeah. So the idea that also there's like in our hands, we have all these hand bones.
Yeah.
It just got rid of those. It has like one hand bone right here. It's got this little bone in between its 2 fingers and then finger. Just straight from the to the fingers.
So there wouldn't have been a whole lot of like maneuverability.
Yeah, just this. Just like
it would have had very limited motion, definitely.
Yeah.
To
super weird.
It
must be sexual selection. It must be some kind of mating thing.
Probably.
And they have very, very, very big heads.
The biggest head, actually. So out of all terrestrial animals that have ever lived, if you compare body size with head size, T-Rex had the biggest head. Which is
Tyrannosaurs or T-Rex specifically?
T-Rex specifically.
Wow.
It was the last one of its lineage.
So it was just like just a progression of bigger and bigger heads.
Yeah. Smaller arms and bigger heads. Yeah, so you can definitely see that T-Rex was using its head mostly as hands. Like if you think about a bird of prey eating, they don't use their wings to hold anything down. They use their feet, which T-Rex had massive feet as well, and their faces.
So could they get their head down to their feet?
I bet so.
Yeah.
I bet they could get that far down.
Just like, "Ugh."
Can't imagine.
I
Like,
mean that. So there's a T-Rex skull at the museum where you work.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I see. That's bad. I don't want to be involved with that in any way. Doesn't look it looks way scarier than this thing. This is pretty scary. Like I wouldn't want to go up with anybody that had an arm that looked like this.
no.
But not scary like a T-Rex head.
Yeah,
which
40.
is like, boy, that's just
4.5
like just cuts
feet
you in
long.
half.
Yeah, it would just. I mean, yeah. If you guys
Definitely snack size.
we would be, like the movies do it pretty good. How they usually have like T-Rex biting a human in half.
Yeah,
because that's about. I mean,
the size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about palate length here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would suck.
And not a lot of chewing. Not a lot of chewing going on.
No.
Just biting and swallowing.
Just bite and swallow.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Very bird-like in that way.
Yep.
That's exciting. I'm excited for the episode to come out. Thank you for bringing this T-Rex arm. It is enlightening.
I know you don't think like it's like, oh yeah, T-Rex had tiny arms, but then you like hold one and you're like, this is like the same size as my arm.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it weighed like what, 20,000 pounds or something like that. So you got
20,000 pound with just like
arms.
A normal person arm. Not a normal person. It's pretty long. It's longer than my arm. But.
It's longer than just barely though. I have a volunteer who is 6'6", and his fingers stick out a little bit farther than those fingers.
So it's like just a large man's arm.
Yeah.
Except it's mostly finger.
So strange. I know. I love that specimen. I was so glad when we.
Can you tell me more about Pecks Rex?
Yeah, so Pecks Rex was found in 1997 south of Fort Peck Reservoir in eastern Montana, and it was like right off the side of one of the local highways there. You could probably see the excavation going, and it's relatively complete. We have most of the right side of the body. Most of the left side of the body was gone, so you can kind of
just like above the line of where weathering had happened.
So if you think about a T-Rex laying down on its right side and kind of sinking into like a mud bank or something, and then the rest of it washed away. Okay. But the great thing about paleontology, if you have the right side, you can make the left side. So
that's the thing you want to have happen. You don't want to get the bottom half and not the top half.
Exactly. Yeah. You just want one side, if anything. So
the great thing about bilateral symmetry, really.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. It makes for great displays. So 97, and it was actually excavated relatively quickly, I think within, the year or so. And then it spent many years getting prepped out. And these were found as very strange. It's in the Hell Creek Formation, so late Cretaceous. And a lot of the bones were found inside ironstone concretions. So like these big, like a nucleus of iron, and it just kind of pulls all the iron and makes this weird concretion. And so like the vertebrae, for example, were in like these big cylinders. It was so bizarre. Like it was so weird. So I don't think I've ever.
It needs a lot of prep.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have any envy for the people that had to prep these bones out, but a full fleshed out version of this T-Rex and the fully articulated skeleton that they created is on display at the Fort Peck Interpretive Center at the hydraulic dam that they have there. Cool. And it's pretty cool. I'm sure they have it mounted with its weird little vestigial digit as well. But it was pretty exciting. The third finger, the pinky, I guess, was written up in 2007 in a GSA abstract. But there was another researcher, I think, that discussed it briefly in like a 2017 publication. But it's a weird one.
It's a weird one. So strange. Like it extends directly from the arm bone into the finger bone. It's almost like the fingers are an extension of. Or the arm bone is an extension of the finger.
It's like doing this.
It is. Doing this.
Live long and prosper, you guys, from T-Rex.
So I also, since it's our first birthday, I'll just leave this here.
Yeah, you can hang out with us.
I wanted to ask if you got any favorite episodes that have happened this year.
Ooh, we've had so many good episodes. I've been really excited about a lot of the topics. The whale evolution topic, I was just like waiting for us to do. That's one of my favorite transition stories. But actually, the episode about why sauropods are so big was probably my favorite because we got to use you as this tiny little scale person next to those huge sauropods. That's basically why we shoot on a green screen, you guys, is so we can make those.
Make me really small and hanging out with big dinosaurs.
Yes, that's
why
my
we do
favorite.
the full
full body
green
shots.
screen.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
a lot of fun.
when we shoot Eons. I always forget about this until we're doing it, but we shoot it in portrait mode,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get because we're just shooting us and then laying us on things. But so instead of shooting in landscape, we shoot in portrait and then take out the green, and which always means that I'm sticking my hands out to the
too
side.
far. Yeah.
And Nick's like, stop, bring it in.
Keep your arms
Stop
in.
gesturing so much.
Yep.
Yeah, and when I first went in and he kept saying that, I was like, what is the shot you have me in that you have my full body, but I can't do this? And he was like, it's in portrait.
Yeah.
Like,
so I got to be a scale bar for Quetzalcoatlus. So that was also really cool.
Good. Yeah.
And I was really excited to be able to host that episode because I visited the Vert Paleontology collection at the University of Texas, Austin, and got to see the Quetzalcoatlus material. And I think I actually got to touch the bone. It was a quick touch. I didn't feel, it's somebody else's collection. You don't go in and touching everybody's stuff. Yeah.
I was touching all your stuff.
But it's crazy huge. It would have been very hard for me to look at those bones and be like, yeah, that's pterosaur, right off the bat.
Right.
They're huge. They're like dinosaur sized bones, like what you'd think of. And then they're just hollow. They're this thick and completely hollow on the inside.
Whoa.
So yeah.
That makes it pretty clear.
Yeah.
What's happening?
It's crazy. What about you?
I was just thinking about the episode we did on the history of illustration of dinosaurs. How cool that was to sort of look at the history of This is so itchy. Look at the history of paleontology. I guess I could do it back to the back. The history of paleontology through the lens of the history of because this is when you look at these, now thought of as hugely scientifically inaccurate drawings of dinosaurs, you understand that this is we had a process of coming to understand what dinosaurs were like and how they lived and how to imagine them, and also how not just scientifically, but how we imagined them in terms of the stories we told about them.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought that was a great episode too. That was really neat.
Yeah.
And looking at it not just in the history of illustration, but partnering that with also the history of the science, because it's just a reflection of how much we know at that given time. So, because nowadays, man, people are going crazy with their feathered dinosaur interpretations.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it.
Crazy pants. Some of the bright neon pink and green ones, I'm like, probably not, but go for it, kids. You go for it,
Kids. Yeah. I mean, you don't know.
You don't know. Sometimes we do know because we did the episode on feathered dinosaurs. So.
Right, and we've also, I think that we talked about the coloration. I don't know what it's called, but where the animal's darker on top and lighter on the bottom.
Counter shading. Yeah. That was on Psittacosaurus. So one of the rare opportunities to get to see a non-avian dinosaur's coloration.
Right.
That's even more rare, I would assume. Because they didn't have, they had filaments, but we actually got it from the skin.
The skin pigments, yeah.
Skin pigments, which is just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Can't even
super
believe
cool.
It. So cool.
And I like the ones where we talk about whole eras. Instead of I love focusing in, and I love, we've done a lot of different kinds of episodes, which I think is really cool. I think it's amazing to sort of take this topic, which is obviously very, very broad, history of life, basically. And instead of finding one way to do it, which would be a lot easier, we're telling a story of scientific illustration alongside a story of a period of 100 million years, alongside a story of the Devil's Corkscrew, which I also love that episode.
Oh,
it's
a
very specific mystery that was solved.
Yeah. And there are, paleo is a bunch of mysteries all tied up into one. But yeah, those episodes are great they're probably the hardest, I would
when
say,
you take on the whole era.
to do a whole episode just from writing to fact checking to getting the graphics.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes we like go through it fast, and I'm just like, and here we are continuing. I don't. What was the episode we did on like the pre-Cambrian stuff?
The Ediacaran
the
material,
squishy time.
Squishy times. Yeah, everybody loves everybody. There's no predator-prey relationships. Everybody just living
squishing around.
Just squishing around.
Why do we have to mess it up? Why do we have to be like, we should start eating each other?
And eating each other. And
let's evolve jaws.
Nutrients and metabolisms. God,
exoskeletons. God, it's so much work to build all these things. We could have all just been squishies.
We should have just been squishies the whole time. I mean,
but would evolution have ever evolved if we'd just been squishies? Probably not.
I mean, squishy stuff can go pretty far. Think about jellyfish.
I mean, far? I mean, they're still around.
They are.
I wouldn't say they're
around.
Intelligent. They're plankton.
No, they kind of are, yeah. So we definitely would not be making this live stream right now had we be just squishy things.
I don't know. Maybe given enough time.
I know. Maybe we'll find squishy, complex life under the ice and on Europa or something.
And there'll not be no predators at all. That's my huge fear, is that we get down there and it's just like giant, and it's like, well, it's nice to meet you. We'll be back home on Earth. Glad there's a giant gulf of nothingness between us, and a hard shell of miles of ice.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Bye. Nice to meet you. Oh my gosh,
that would be ideal.
Finding space monsters.
I mean, it's probably gotta be space monsters.
They've got to be space monsters.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
but
there's
definitely
theory,
space monsters.
There is
the
an
question
Earth.
Is there space monsters on Europa?
Oh yeah.
I mean, but
isn't there a movie with space monsters on Europa?
I don't know, it sounds like a very good title.
Space Monsters on Europa. No, it had a little bit classier title than that, but I'm pretty sure there
Anybody if you're watching the live stream and you're aware of a Space Monsters on Europa movie, let us know.
Because it was really creepy because like they would shine like lights through the ice or something and you'd see like shadows and stuff moving. That'd be creepy. That'd be really creepy. I mean,
I'd be like, well, we found life. Take me home.
Done. Check.
Yeah. Just take a sample and head on back. Picked up some ice cubes.
I know. How long? What, like 6 years to get back from Europa or something? It would take a while.
Yeah. I mean, I think to get a person to do that, I think
like
we would
4 years to Mars, right?
That's less than that.
It's less than 4?
If it depends on how you do it, but you could get to Mars in like 6 months.
Okay.
The Europa report.
It couldn't be something so simple, right?
So we've gotten some questions from our live stream. I got a question for you. Are we gonna make dinosaurs?
Are we gonna make them like Jurassic Park style?
I don't know.
However,
maybe not Jurassic Park style. Maybe we make like a cute little one.
Well, so there's people kind of working on it. So reverse engineering, taking a chicken. So since it's a dinosaur, we can technically turn it into like what, Compsognathus or something, or one of the little tiny dinosaurs.
Right.
So
give it some teeth. What else do you need to do? Like, I feel like that's the big difference. Beaks and teeth.
So
get rid of the beak, add the teeth.
You need a tail. A long tail.
Long tail.
Right. Not a little Pyga style. You gotta get the long tail.
Pyga style.
Yeah, that's the very last vertebrae.
Nubbin that has all the little tail feathers.
Yep.
On it.
Exactly. So you gotta have a long tail. You gotta have teeth. Scaly feet. So they kind of have scaly feet, but not like dinosaur scaly feet, I guess. And then obviously turning wings into arms. But the first step would just be getting the claws back on the wings.
Which so basically, there are birds with claws on their wings, right?
They have like spikes. I don't think they're technically
okay. So it evolved.
Fingers.
Like the fingers went away and then a little spike
came out. And I think that's in a species of birds that the females are the big badasses that fight for males.
Oh, that's unusual.
It is very unusual. Yeah. And so
do you know why it's unusual? That males tend to be the ones who compete?
Because they're not the ones making babies.
Because they're less valuable. Is the actual reason? Because it
takes two.
No, it doesn't.
Not always.
It takes one male inseminate all the females.
True.
And it does not take one female to inseminate all the males.
Yeah.
So they're less valuable in the population.
Oh.
Tends to be why they compete more for females.
Gotcha. Okay. There you go, guys.
But it would be interesting to know what the difference is
in certain populations.
For that
bird.
Populations who do have female fights.
Female fights
for males.
Yeah, and they're real jerks about it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look like fun.
No, it doesn't look like real fun to be that species of bird at all. Yeah, no. But so we're trying to reverse engineer a dinosaur, but bringing a dinosaur back is going to be a little tough. Because
time travel, that would be one
time
way to
travel.
do it, if we could do that.
I've heard you can go back in time. If the multiverse theory is correct,
you've heard we can go back in time just from the song.
What?
Just from the song, we can go back in time?
No,
what?
if we could go back in time.
I thought you said I've heard we can go back in time, and I was like,
no.
I hadn't heard that except in Huey Lewis.
I've heard that we can go back in time, not forward in time, because the future hasn't happened yet, but the past is still like
that's like in
the twinkle.
The time travel hypothesis that I like is that you can go back to the moment when you built the machine. So like you can't go like you build the time machine, and then from that point forward you can always go back to when you built it.
Oh yeah.
And I like this because it explains why there aren't a bunch of time travelers around.
Yep.
Messing us up. And so my theory is that the moment you build a time machine, the world just stops ending because you've messed everything up.
Ooh.
So you build the time machine, everybody can go back to it, but the moment you build it, somebody comes back to it, walks out and just like destroys the space-time continuum or whatever.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, like if
it'd be a really good story. The end is just the world ends. And then it's actually pretty much of a not really exciting climax.
kind of a peter out at the end. Yeah. So if multiverse is true, then technically there is an Earth where the asteroid did not hit and dinosaurs are still hanging out. So if we can figure out how to jump between continuums,
then we could just grab them.
But
the problem is that we'd go there and they'd have cars and roads and they'd be like
lizard people.
And they'd be like, wait, what are you? And they'd be like,
we're a hairless ape.
Yeah. I know we look super weird.
We look real weird.
Your cars are so big. You could never do space travel. You're too heavy.
Yeah. Well, did you hear that theory that's why there are civilizations, but they live on bigger planets and they don't have enough oomph to get out of their own gravity?
It's crazy, like the sort of number of things that have to be the way that they are for us to be able to get into outer space at all.
Yeah.
And like how much we weigh matters. And in fact, I heard there was at one point an argument that like we should do an all-female crew for the mission to Mars because it's less food you have to carry, it's less mass that people are, because women tend to be smaller and like less water that you drink and all of the things. But then somebody was like, yeah, but you also want the comparative study. You want to be able to see how it affects
how's everything handling on both the sexes. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
So just bring one guy along for study, scientific analysis.
Male control.
Cool.
So I don't know if we'll bring back.
We'll mess around. We'll get a woolly mammoth at least.
What I think, like, man, if we could get far enough away to see light coming from the Earth that's 65 million years old, and then use our telescopes that don't exist to look back.
We'd have to catch up to the light.
Yeah, and
have to go get the light
to see what the light, like.
I like that.
But
it does require faster than light travel. It also requires some pretty badass telescopes to get like Google Earth images.
Hey,
better than Google Earth images.
I'm giving everybody out there
65 million light years away
great ideas for movie scripts. So if I ever see one where we chase light to look back on it at older times.
Sure, man.
I mean, you got to get 65 light years away.
65 million.
Yeah.
It's like it got worse. It got worse.
So much worse.
Added 6 zeros.
Yeah, and then let's see what else. Like,
got any other ways for us to see dinosaurs? That's I'm at my limit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I know too.
Cretaceous amber.
Cretaceous amber, yeah. So if you were
But it
lucky
wouldn't
enough
work.
to get, well, no, it wouldn't work because DNA
DNA.
has a half-life that's
Yeah.
pretty short. And but in Jurassic Park, if you were lucky enough to have the P4A perk to hear me and Blake give the commentary on Jurassic Park, the original one, you'll know that the amber that they used in the Dominican Republic is from the Cenozoic. So it's not even
It's like
old
20
enough.
million years old. It's old.
It's old, but it ain't dinosaur
Yeah.
old.
When
So-
you work at this company, if you work here 5 years, you get Cenozoic amber with an insect
Ugh.
inclusion.
Dang, here we go. Year 1
Year
down,
1.
4 to go.
Victoria, have we seen any more questions?
Question.
If T-Rex didn't go extinct, they would eventually evolve to Nygård.
Would T-Rex have lost the arms?
So I don't know. Like we were talking with the echidna and the kiwi, they still have little nubbins, and same thing with whales. Now, is it just that we haven't had enough time for them to go all the way away? Would T-Rex go down to like just fingers? Would you just have like
just
little-
like this part would shrink, and then it would just be like
Oh God, he would look like
just
he-
like nipple fingers.
Nipple fingers. I was just about to say that. So like I don't know if they would go all the way away or if they would just keep nubbins.
I mean, if they actually aren't useful, I feel like they would have gone away because
I mean, all the
like,
side
how
toes
long-
on a
how long
horse
were-
are gone.
Do you know how long the tyrannosaurs were around?
Oh,
I feel like it was like
like
some ridiculous, like 60 million years or something.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was
That's a
thinking
long
That's a long
time
time.
for a vestigial organ to stick around.
to get it away, and it took horses a lot less time to lose all their side toes to just have one toe
Right.
that they walk around on today.
Right.
So I mean, they did lose all
Side
those
toes.
Side toes.
Side toes. When did horses lose their side toes? I mean, you knew.
Well, by like 11 million years, we had horses with single toes, but we also had
11
side
million,
toes.
like MYA, million
Yeah,
years ago.
11 million years ago, yeah. But there were still other species of horses roaming around with the side toes still. So I would
Hmm.
think a couple million years after that, like
Right.
side toes were gone.
Yeah. So like it takes on the order of millions of years,
To
like
lose
single
major
millions of-
structures, yeah.
And so it makes sense to me that there was a reason for these.
Again,
And maybe it's just that when a female T-Rex saw a guy with like the littlest arms, she was like, I
Okay.
don't think so.
Oh. to get him small, in the
To get him
first
small,
place,
but then not too small.
just not too small.
Eventually she was like, that looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
That
Yes, I don't know.
that looks ridiculous, and I will not make love with you. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness, I know.
I'm
Good
sorry,
old
Steve.
sexual selection.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like, why didn't you show me a picture of those in your Tinder profile?
yeah, it was too high up. Didn't get down to the goods. Oh, the tiny little arms.
You have anything else for us?
Proof that T-Rex used.
Oh, are they proof that the T-Rex used tools? I think the 2 fingers is proof that they didn't use tools.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
You need
tough.
a thumb. You need a thumb.
Man,
you don't
thumbs are-
need a thumb. There are tool
thumbs are
users
pretty
that
good.
don't have thumbs.
True. Birds using little
Mhm.
sticks and
Dolphins.
holes. Dolphins. Yeah.
But I tell you what, raccoons are, I'm convinced, people.
Oh my gosh. It is the funnest thing in the wintertime to see raccoon tracks. It's like little
Tiny little fairy
human
prints.
hands all
Yeah.
over the place. I love it. I love raccoons. I did not realize how big raccoons were
They
until
can
like
get quite big.
I moved up here.
In the winter, yeah.
And then I
they
saw
get
one.
much, I feel like they get bigger here than they did in Florida.
Well, so there's a principle. I don't know if it's still holding a whole lot of water anymore. And I can't remember what it's called. The theory that larger animals hold more heat than smaller animals.
Oh, definitely.
So like,
Surface area to volume, man.
yeah. So it's still a
And
thing.
like the squirrels, there are different species of squirrel here,
Mhm.
are much bigger than the squirrels. Like I go back to Florida, I'm like, what are these tree mice? These pathetic little mice that live in the trees with their fluffy tails. And when I originally moved here, I was like, oh my god.
Those are
jeez,
so
he's-
big.
he's-
And the ones on campus get so fat and
Yeah.
they don't run anymore. Like they're not scared of anything. They saunter. If you've never seen a squirrel just like saunter around.
It's like, well, I am heavy. I have to move this around.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear? So there's a story. So all these squirrels that we have today are invasives. They were brought over. They're European squirrels, and people thought they looked cute.
Not all
in
the squirrels
park.
in America.
Not all the squirrels in America. The
gray squirrel and the red
squirrels.
fox squirrels.
Yeah. They're from Europe. And so they put them in the parks, and all these Victorian people would feed them snacks constantly because it was great. You feed the squirrels. It was fun. Well, the squirrels got so heavy, they were like falling out of trees.
I can't hold on.
So it's just like raining little fat squirrels. And so the cities had to put up signs to tell people to like stop feeding the squirrels because it was bad for them and they were getting too fat and falling out of trees.
I mean, eventually the squirrel population would just have increased to however much food you gave them. And it doesn't take long for a squirrel population to increase.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
Because they have multiple litters per year, I think.
I think so too.
Which
Which baby squirrels are probably the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
they're so cute. I just had 100% of my cherries get eaten by squirrels. And I am pretty mad about it. I'll be honest.
I just had a deer decimate my oriental maple tree and
Yeah.
it makes you somewhat hate them.
I know.
It's tough.
This was the first year we were going to have a good cherry crop, and they ate them all before they were even ripe. So they didn't even get
The
good cherries.
stuff, man.
They ate like barely edible cherries.
Yeah, and they missed the good part of letting them fall on the ground and starting to ferment and get a little drunk off of it.
I'm going to like go around to my neighbors and steal their cherries because I feel
Go
so
at
bad
night?
about not getting any.
Just go run up to the flathead at night.
Just steal. Well, I feel like stealing cherries from my neighbors feels very different from stealing cherries from farmers.
True.
It feels like that.
That is
Yeah,
maybe
my
crossing the
neighbors
line.
are like, oh god, we have too many cherries. Farmers,
Usually
they
don't have that problem.
usually use all their cherries.
Use all the cherries.
that are
don't,
usable.
Don't steal cherries from farms. That was my bad. But neighbors, though.
Yeah, totally. Do you got anything else for us?
Could you bring back trilobites?
Could you bring back trilobites? That seems even harder.
That
When did
seems
they?
really-
They're like,
Well, so
how long ago did they go extinct? 100 million?
252, right?
250. You're right.
Yeah, at the end of the Permian period. So they were wiped out finally by the Permian extinction event. That's going to be tough because we're not exactly sure if they have any modern
Where the branch
living
happened.
relatives. Yeah, so like,
Right.
could you take a horseshoe crab and turn it into a trilobite?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They're close. So like it would have been possible for trilobites and horseshoe crabs to be a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
But they're not. They kind of sort of came off similarly.
Yeah.
They're crustaceans both.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely
It
different.
would be-
And so many different species of trilobites. But I guess that's true of
There's a
dinosaurs too.
lot. Yeah, there was so many. And that, I mean, like bringing back a sauropod versus bringing back Archaeopteryx are two different things.
Right.
You know, like being able to work with the bird lineage that's still around versus no living descendants.
Right.
So, yeah, that would be tough. That would be, bringing back a trilobite would be really tough.
So So the birds that we have now are living descendants of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But horseshoe crabs are not living descendants of trilobites.
I don't think so,
Yeah.
because like the branch would have happened like almost 500 million years ago, because horseshoe crabs have been around almost as long as trilobites.
So what we got to hope for then is that trilobites aren't actually extinct, and
Yeah,
that there's
and
like
they're-
there's just like a little corner of the earth.
Where's that
It's
movie
just like
at?
Trilobite City.
Where's that movie?
It's called Trilobite City. It's like Jurassic Park,
but it's
except
just
it's
little
not at all dangerous.
cruising around trilobites. Yeah. If you threw in some sea scorpions, some eurypterids, then it would get a little bit scarier. But yeah, but our very first episode was on trilobites.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Those were good times. That was like about a year ago, right?
About a year ago.
Well, I remember because I remember because it's our first birthday, but also because I came home from VidCon and we uploaded the first episode of Eons.
Yep.
I was like online that day.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, that was fun. Getting to introduce the world to Eons at VidCon.
Uh-huh.
It was great
Yeah,
time.
up on the stage,
Up
up in
on the
like the
stage.
giant stage.
Oh
we
my
were
god!
like-
And the huge screen. I've never been on a screen that big before.
yeah, and then we left, and then like Anna Kendrick came out.
And then what? Elmo was up before us,
Yeah,
wasn't
you
it?
know, Elmo,
We just rubbing
Anna
elbows.
Kendrick, us. Did you say
With-
rubbing Elmos?
Oh, I should have. I should have. I didn't, but I should have.
Yeah.
That's
Those were
good.
Good times.
Good
I didn't
times.
even go on the main stage at VidCon this year. I didn't even go into the arena. I did not see it.
Wow.
I was just
Were
like,
you
no,
just too
that's
busy, or
not
you were
my
just
life
like-
anymore. I'm on the smaller stages. I don't need this. I don't need this. It's too much. John did a thing with
Okay.
Dan and not Dan and Phil, with Smosh. Sorry.
So
to
there was
confuse those
one
things.
green represented on the big
Yeah.
stage at least.
Yeah, I saw pictures. It looked very cool.
I bet. I saw lots of pictures on the social media.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get to come to VidCon.
Yeah, sad. If anybody wanted to say hi everybody.
All those Eons fans.
We got 411,000 of you out there.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh my
love it.
gosh.
I did get to hang out with a bunch of EDU creators. And that's always very good to hang out with them.
Man, they
who
are
doing
like,
similar
I
stuff.
never have more ideas than coming back from something like that and talking to the other creators.
Do you have any good ideas coming up? Any things you want to talk about on Eons? You could kill somebody with this thing.
Yeah, you could hit somebody with it and it would hurt, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, one that I've been wanting to do a lot about insects, and I think we are going to do an insect episode, evolution of insects, coming up, which I was super excited for that one. I'd also like to talk more about plants. And
Yeah, when you said insects, I thought about flowers.
yeah, and we did the flower episode, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about either what happened at the end of the Cretaceous extinction event. We kind of talk about it, but we don't really focus on the change in plants, which it's really interesting, the change in plants. So every single plant that we have alive today is a descendant of one that made it through the Cretaceous extinction event. So
Not one species.
not
but
one species.
yeah.
Yeah. There was like a handful
Well, I mean, that's
of them.
true of all things.
All things made it through extinction events. I know, but we need to look at
But-
some plants.
Yeah, and like how, like what were the groups that made it through the extinction event, and
Mhm.
what did we get as a result of that?
as a result,
Yeah.
we did snakes with legs already, which was fun.
That was so weird.
Yeah, and
I mean, the interesting thing about that episode is like how many we don't knows were in it.
yeah, and there's a lot. And we got to do an episode on platypus, or at least mammalian evolution, talking about the different
Well, yeah, that
types of
like when
when
mammals
those-
happened and what and like the fact that echidnas have wings.
we will mention that. That will be mentioned in the episode. I'll make sure that gets in there. But just like egg-laying mammals, like that just seems like it's not correct, but it is.
Well, I mean, it's fun. There are also. It's not like there aren't non-mammals that give live birth.
True.
And I remember being surprised when I was like, there are fish that give birth to live young?
Yeah, and snakes.
doesn't
give
seem
birth to
right.
live- Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about maybe just eggs in general would be a cool episode.
Mhm. Eggs are weird and cool and fascinating. And also, like, everybody has them,
Mhm.
all the animals. Or do they? Yeah.
Mhm.
Everybody
Something.
has them. Yeah. In one form or another. But, like, all the different forms that they can take. And
Yes.
also that, like, the like
How
soft
all the
shell
different
versus
ways
hard
they can
shell.
be fertilized.
Yeah.
Yeah, and different shell types and what things have eggs and what don't have eggs. And
Yeah, I once had a person who was into what's it called?
Mm.
Shoot, when you like take stuff from nature and you're like, we're going to use that in our science. But whatever that, say to me like there's two ways to like to make calcium carbonate. You can like do all this sciencey chemical stuff, or you can just feed calcium to a chicken, and then it like makes it inside of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
I see what you mean.
makes a mineral on the inside of
Making-
its body.
Yeah, biomineralization.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a cool one.
Biomimicry is what I was thinking of. That's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah, and or do like, oh man, there's so many topics I wanna
Right, and
wanna
like
do.
where like the moments that these things that like different things happened. Like I want to know, when did fingernails start? Like when did
Ooh.
keratin start?
Yeah, fingernails.
What was the first keratinous thing? Because I
can-
know like sharks happened before scales.
Uh-huh.
And so you still have these sharks swimming around, and it's like you don't think about the fact that there's like the bony fish have scales and sharks don't have scales.
Yeah,
They have
teeth.
a scale like thing, but they're not made of
They have
scales.
teeth
They
skin.
basically have skin,
It's-
skin made of teeth.
It is the weirdest. Oh, the SEM pictures of snake skin is
Right.
just
Scanning electron microscope. I'll
Yes.
translate for the audience.
Thanks, sorry. That is a mouthful, and that's why we say SEM.
Yeah.
But oh man, I don't know. What would you want to see? What do you want to see? What are
Let's see. I don't know. Eyes, maybe eyes. I don't know if we've done. I don't think we've done an
yeah?
episode on
We could
eyes
talk
yet.
about the evolution of eyes.
And like all like maybe like the 8 different times eyes happened,
Oh yeah,
because of
mhm.
course eyes are very useful, and so they happened a bunch of different
They
times.
did. I bet. Mhm.
You've read the story of Earth because you were the one who recommended it to me. So that
An
book
early Earth episode.
talks a lot about how life affected the geology of the
I
planet,
know. I
which would
didn't.
be a cool episode.
Man, I didn't. That book opened
Yeah.
so many things for me.
Mhm. So before life, there was no oxygen in the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And a huge number, like the majority of minerals on the planet have oxygen in them. Like silicon dioxide, the most
Yeah.
common mineral on the planet,
Mhm.
doesn't happen without atmospheric oxygen.
Yeah.
And you don't think about that
Yes, and then like
because otherwise, like oxygen is an unstable molecule. It doesn't hang around.
no,
It turns into
has
stuff.
to be in stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So before there was like life pumping out oxygen into the atmosphere all the time, were all these minerals that just didn't happen. And so like all these beautiful minerals that we see are all just like wouldn't happen on a planet without life.
Yeah, and like most of all the minerals that we use today came about during the Boring Billion.
Yeah.
So like that'd
Have we
be
done
cool.
a Boring Billion
We
episode?
haven't done a Boring Billion episode.
Gotta do a Boring Billion episode.
We should, because it was not boring at all.
I mean,
So
there
you
was
didn't get multicellular life, but there was a lot of stuff that happened during the Boring Billion.
yeah, I mean, if you could put a billion years into one category, it's pretty boring. If you could do one episode of Eons on a billion years, it's not that exciting.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
So this was like the billion years after single cell life happened.
Yeah.
Where it was
So
just
this
like
is
life was like, I'm gonna do the whole planet now, but I'm not gonna do anything complicated.
Yeah. We're just
Which is
spreading out.
probably what most planets that have life are like.
Yeah, just kind of.
Just
I mean, if it
bacterial
takes like
mats.
4 billion years to create multicellular life,
Yeah.
that's a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
If it's successful, if it happens,
Yeah, it had to be a stable planet for a long time for this, cars to happen.
Cars to happen. Yep.
Before like
Before
the
we
first
could make
747.
it unstable. Yeah.
Before we could decide to add a lot of CO2 to the atmosphere very quickly. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what
It's a
happens.
great
A
experiment.
whole planet-wide experiment of carbon dioxide.
2 minutes left.
Okay. You want a cake? Is there a knife in the house?
Oh, dang. They are prepared.
Hey!
We gotta get some cake. That's why I brought it.
2 plates and 2
Oh, got everything. We miss you, Blake. We miss you.
Blake. Are you watching at home?
Are you watching on your drive to wherever?
Probably not. If he's driving, don't watch TV while you're driving.
Cars make their own Wi-Fi now, which is crazy.
Sounds like a bad idea.
My car does not make its own Wi-Fi.
No. My car just makes it go.
Which is, I mean,
Great.
enough, I think.
I want a backup camera though.
Dude, I have a backup
I
camera.
have a backup camera.
And it's amazing. Actually, you kind of forget how to back up without it after
Right.
a while.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
You just like stop looking and you're like, well, I don't see it, so I guess I'll just go.
go. Yeah. So it doesn't replace the old turn the head and look, but it's yeah, they are wonderful.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Oh yeah, fluffy.
It is fluffy cake.
Mm.
Hooray for Eons.
Hooray. Thank you all so much.
Bye.
We had a good time.
It was fun.